Well, just, you were out with the adductor strain. I mean, Doc did say, he's like, I wasn't sure how Dame was moving. Just kind of how do you feel and what was the process you even playing today?
I mean, we wanted to try to win the game. I thought we started the game really well. Had a few little irritation type moments in that second quarter. And Doc was like, "I'm gonna get you out." He tried to get me out in the second quarter, and I was just like, we already here now. Let's just play. And I felt good about at least being on the floor going into the playoffs. I didn't want to just not have no type of game action going into the postseason. So being able to get out there, guys denying me full court, trying to pick me up full court and stuff like that, I think that was just good for me to just kind of get that bump, you know what I'm saying? I think Cleveland lost, so they did us a favor, so we didn't drop too far. But that was it.
You think you'll be all right with the week off?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it won't be perfect, but I mean, I don't think nobody is. You know what I mean? But the week, just being able to get everything together, getting the rest and getting our minds right, it'll be good for us.
Doc kind of talked about its second quarter falling apart a little bit, where you guys are ISOing the wrong guy and going after Jonathan Isaac. Just kind of what did you see from you guys falling into that maybe ISO trap a little bit?
I didn't think we fell into a trap. I just think we allowed the wrong guy to be in the play too many times. And I think for me personally, sometimes you go for the matchup, and sometimes, I'm a scorer, so I'm not going. The smart thing to do is to try to find the weak link. I think sometimes when you're on the floor, when you start to point things out and try to, tell everybody what you want, the other team is constantly pointing guys up and they switching and doing all that stuff, and sometimes you end up being up against the clock. So I think that's one thing, but I think we just got to be more proactive about it. During free throws, just telling guys, stay flat, being more clear about who we want in certain actions, so we can not just be able to score on a guy, but just get into the paint and make the defense have to react, and then maybe we just create more quality possessions. Playoff games are each possession is more important than I would say the regular season. The game slows down. You got to value possessions, and you got to have quality possessions. And especially with us being down our best player, it's going to be even more important to make sure that we don't waste possessions and I guess not think ourselves through, what our best opportunities are. So that's something we just going to have to be better at from the beginning.
Well, and you know that you've got the Pacers in the first round, whom you met 5 times in the regular season. How are you feeling about that matchup, and what type of adjustments do you think, I know we're thinking far ahead, but do you think your team is going to make against them?
I feel good about it. I think the one thing about the playoffs, especially this season, everybody can beat everybody. That's really how I feel about it. Happy that we got home court, and it's a team that we're familiar with. We know that they like to play fast. They score a lot of points. There's only a few teams that score over 120. We one of them, and they one of them. And we just got to know what their strengths are, which we know well, like I said, and we got to try to take as many of those things away and make it a tougher game for them.
How has your team improved from your perspective since you last saw them?
Has my team?
How have you guys improved as a team since you last saw them, which was in 23? It's been months.
Yeah, I think we've just been through a lot since then. We've had some down moments, then we've come back from those moments, and then you get a new coach, and then we have a different way about us, different style of play. Just so many different things we've learned about ourselves, just from going through stuff, and the season happening, having success, having some struggles, and coming back from it. I think you're never the same team this late in the season as you are at that time. I think since then we've learned a lot about ourselves, and I think it'll show.
Transition defense has been a struggle for you guys all year long. That's going to be big in that matchup. How do you feel like you guys have kind of improved in that regard as a transition defense team?
I think it's been a major focus of ours. I think we've done a lot better in this last, maybe 30 games. It's just been inconsistent. Some games it's like, what happened? Like we have a good stretch, and then a game like Golden State, where it's just out the window. But I think in the playoffs, it's a much more physical game. And it's harder to get out and play that sped-up game. That's why I said it's a much slower game. You got to play better half-court offense in the playoffs because it's just more physical. They let you get away with more bumping, and they've already been doing it, on this back end of the season. So it's probably going to be worse in the playoffs. So it slows the game down. But I think as far as transition, on the shot, we got to be on the way back. We can't be hanging back, taking stabs in the backcourt, knowing how fast they play. If we want to start by taking something away that they do well, that's going to be something that we got to focus on is, getting back in transition.
You guys had that the play-in matchup, and all the matchups with a couple of matchups with you guys were just like intense, chirpy between you and the Pacers. How do you anticipate? Do you anticipate there being any extra something or anything going into this series? Like, is that think that'll carry over from the regular season going into it?
I think it's important for us to understand, what our purpose is playing in the playoffs, and it's to beat Indiana first, and that's the only thing. But everybody's in the playoffs to have a chance to move on. You don't want to get overly emotional about it, and we got to be responsible when it comes to that. We can't be overly emotional about it because it's in the playoffs that can change a series. You get too emotional, you can be taken advantage of. So I think it's important for us not to come out being emotional about the shit. Like we got to keep our composure and we got to act like the vet team that we are. I've been in a number of series that whoever got emotional, they were taken advantage of in that game. Sometimes it was us, sometimes it was the other team. More times than not, it was the other team. But we got to be the mature team. We got to have that intensity and that urgency, but we can't be, too emotional to where we getting taken advantage of.
How much are you off that? How much are you looking forward to this? Because when this all started with you on October 3rd, it was, I'm here to do something. So what's not that 82 didn't mean anything, but what are you looking forward to? How much does this mean to you? Right.
It meant something, but I'm here ultimately for this opportunity. Obviously, we aren't fully healthy, but I think the situation we're in presents an opportunity for us to continue to grow, even in the postseason, playing without Giannis, maybe, possibly to start. Still having the ability to get it done and then becoming whole at some point, and you focus on that part of it, and you have a journey in front of us. But I'm excited. I was literally on the way over to this game. I was reminding myself of the feelings I had at the start of the season, just like the excitement and the opportunity that's actually in front of us. Because when the season happens and things don't go, as you wanted it to go, the whole way through, you have all these ups and downs. The season wears on you physically, emotionally. Sometimes we forget, how precious the situation we're in is, and we kind of take ourselves to the negative stuff and what you expected, and this didn't go like this and this didn't go like that. But when you look around the locker room, the experience of the team, what we expect of ourselves, we got an opportunity to do what we all dream to do, and we just got to make sure our minds and our hearts are invested in that. And remember how we felt when we showed up for training camp, and we still that team. We got the same guys in this locker room, so that's what our focus has to be. That's what mine is.
You mentioned Giannis might be ready, might not be ready. It's a tough spot for you guys. How much more difficult does that make prepping a series? Not knowing, if he comes back game 1, if he comes back game 3, how much more difficult is that?
I don't think it's difficult because I think when you bring them back, you get better. So we got to prep as we are right now, and I think the beauty of that is we know that it's enough. We beat really good teams how we are right now, and I've been on teams that won that didn't have a Giannis and didn't have a Chris Middleton and didn't have a Brook Lopez, or Bobby Portis, or it's the best team I've been on. So we're capable. We can win games, and when we get him back, we'll be even better. So I think that's how I'm looking at it. I'm not looking at it like, oh man, we can't. We've shown it, and I've been there before.